it's no secret that we talk to a lot of builders. We just did a workshop in Brisbane with the Builders Coach, Build Exact, Hazard Co, a few other people, right? Key industry people.
Yeah.
We're very involved with this industry. Like, we're really passionate about it. We want to really become like the expert, especially in our field of marketing, which leads into sales.
And to really like lift the industry, help everyone, well, like the rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, and also the other analogy that I've heard recently, instead of trying to get the biggest cut of the pie, just see how you can help make the pie bigger.
That's
or the
cool.
pizza bigger. So that's pretty cool. So that's why, I mean, but yeah, this podcast, it's coming at a really good time, because I've noticed, and talking to a fair few builders recently, you know, they have maybe some projects falling over, projects not moving ahead. And from what I've seen so far, there's two ways you can look at it, or two reasons why they are falling over. One is, you know, around the things that you can't control, and the client can't control it either.
Yeah, that's very true.
So that could literally just be the interest rate, for example.
Yeah.
Or it's outside external conditions. But then on the other side, and builders forget about this, because like when a project doesn't go ahead, they might ask the client why not, and the client will point their finger at, oh, it's the interest rate, or it's this external thing that we can't control, and that is why. But in reality, is sometimes it's around things that the builder and the client can actually control.
Yeah.
And that's why we're going to go dig a little bit deeper on this one today, and how you can try and overcome that.
Because there's a way, and there's definitely a way that you can. There's always going to be some projects, like you say, that will be because of finance reasons, but there's this way that can really help you overcome all the other ones that might not go ahead, and actually have them go ahead and become great clients and projects.
So I'm pretty interested to hear what you've got to say today, because just before I say that just reminded me, back in the day, Grant Cardone always used to say, the most dangerous objection you can get from a client is the one that they don't tell you. So what that means is, most of the time when someone has an objection to not do something or go ahead, they won't tell you the truth. And that's a different topic, so that you've got to actually ask them, like, no, but what's the real objection? So no, I understand interest rate, but really, what is it?
Yeah.
Really, you know? And that is important. We can't just go, interest rates, no, all good, see you later. We've got to go dig deeper. But I want to really hear from you.
Yeah.
You just came back from a golf weekend.
Yeah, and that's the story I wanted to tell this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like we had this 3-4 days in Melbourne. We do it every year, golf trip. We're just like golf fanatics. And so we were going down, and we wanted to this time do a bit of a coffee restaurant hop around just before we start the golf trip. So
where'd you go?
In Melbourne City. So the whole idea was to kind of go, cool, what are the best coffee shops that we can hit? We love good filter coffee. And so we're like, where's the best places? So what I did a couple of days before the trip, at night, I went through Instagram, and I just went through like all these different coffee shops, and I had like 10 on the thing that I wanted to go visit, but we had to narrow it down. So I started going through the coffee shops, and I'm like, man, there's nothing different between each of them. I can't figure out which is best. And then I got to this one that the way they branded themselves and the way they were sort of telling story around their beans really took my attention. It was like the notes of having chocolate and having macadamia in your coffee. And they had these colors that kind of go like, you can choose this color, and then that combination, that's the type of coffee that you can have. So we decided, well, let's go visit that.
So this is not your usual $2 7-Eleven coffee?
No, definitely not. So we got to the coffee shop, and we're like so excited, walked in, and I looked at their wall, and they had that thing of like, this is the notes. So along this like journey so far, I was already so emotionally attached to this coffee beans or company, that I was like so excited to try it out. And when I looked at the menu, it was like you had prices ranging from $8 a cup to about $30 a cup. For a moment, I thought that was...
What was the $30 one?
It was just amazing coffee.
Same coffee, like it wasn't anything different?
No.
Didn't have like gold leaf or anything on it?
No. but they just had like all those very unique tastes that you would experience.
Okay. So what would the margin be if we talk?
Oh man, I think it'd be insane. I
Because
don't
they'll
even wanna
probably
know
get
what-
that. They'll make that coffee cup for like 80 cents. That coffee, they'll make it 80 cents, and maybe the cheaper, the $8 one, they'll probably make that for 50 cents. Or let's go wild. Maybe they make it for $2. That's a huge markup. That's a huge margin. So yeah, like why can coffee shops like that charge that much and even like stay in business? Because you obviously ended up getting coffee, right?
Exactly. And so we ordered the coffees, and yes, it's $30. And like throughout this process, I'm still thinking to myself, oh my word, like I'm used to paying $4 or $5 a coffee. But I was happy with it. And then the coffee came, and as the guy was delivering it, he's like, yeah, so like this is like from Peru, and you can taste the volcanic, I don't know what the country was, it was volcanic, and then you can taste these notes. And I was just looking at him, I'm just like nodding to him. And I'm like, but I was so emotionally engaged to him and the story behind these coffee beans. And when I tasted it, I was like, oh my word, this is amazing.
So
And
do you think the story actually made it taste better?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because it threw me off from the $8 to $30 a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And it made me think about like that experience with my friends on this golf weekend,
Yeah.
having this amazing filter coffee that has these notes that are like, man, I've never tasted it before.
Okay, so yeah, I'm getting a few things from this. I mean, number one is the story helped you make sense of the price in a way. Like it wasn't such a big issue for you anymore. But on the other side, one thing they did really well was still give you a really good experience. So the product lived up to its expectations. It wasn't just them trying to sell you with a story to get a high price, big profit margin on that cup of coffee. It wasn't just to do that, but to actually back it up with a good experience. So
Exactly.
yeah, the way I see it as builders, like I think JP always says this. He's like, BizVideo, like what we do here is not a silver bullet, right? We can tell your story really well. We can get you in front of your audience. We can get them into your database. We can nurture them along the way and everything else like that. But if you have a business that do not live up to that, you know, that quality or that experience that you give your clients, it's not really going to matter.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I had the epiphany. I was like, if we had walked into this coffee shop and looked at the menu and saw those prices, I would have turned around and just walked out.
Yeah.
And it brings us back to that book where this author talks about system 1 and system 2 in the brain, that every person has these two systems and how they make decisions. And so I'm just going to read this out, but the book is called Thinking Fast and Slow by Kahneman, who's a New York best-selling author. And he says that he takes us on a groundbreaking tour of the mind and explains the two systems that drive the way we think. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and emotional. And system 2 is slower, more deliberate, and more logical.
Right. So every person, we all think in terms of these two systems.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Exactly.
That's what I'm getting from it.
And so what it comes down to, like system 1 is basically, like if I had to ask you the question, Corne, like how many animals did Moses take onto the ark?
Well, 2 of each.
Okay.
I don't know how many.
So if I had to say, well, Moses was burning bushes, Noah was the ark guy.
Oh, wow.
And that same thing got me when I read that. But it shows you like system 1 sometimes is a way of thinking. You're just emotional. You just go with the flow. But then you have system 2 where it becomes like you need to allocate attention to effortful like mental activities.
That's really cool. So system 1, just to make it really simple for the audience listening to this, system 1 is emotional thinking based on emotions. And then system 2 is that logical thinking, that real analyzing, going into the detail.
100%.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, like, if you take this back to builders, is that the same thing with that system 1 thinking and system 2, the whole idea is to, how can you keep your clients in system 1 compared to system 2, where they start like having to do all these decisions and things that will ultimately or could turn them away.
Yeah, or make the process really long.
Yes.
I mean, it could extend the whole process by years.
Exactly.
If they get hung up on system 2, so logical, right. So that's where they start breaking down the quote into its smallest constituent parts almost, instead of just looking at the big picture and what it will achieve for them and their family and everything.
Exactly. And that's why there's those questions. There's like basically like a few questions you can ask yourself as a builder. And that comes to like, let's say question one, like with your marketing, the marketing that the message that you're communicating through your website, through your Instagram, through your stories, etc. Is that a message that grows on that system one thinking and makes them really emotional and really like sort of excited about that vision of what they want to create for their family?
Okay. So it's almost like a lens you're looking through. So you as the builder have to put on a lens to go, if I look at my marketing and my messaging and everything out there, is that system 1 or 2? And kind of like rating yourself there.
And the second question you can ask yourself is like, what's throwing clients off in the sales journey? In that first initial contact that they have with you when you're basically figuring out what they want to achieve? What are the things that's throwing them off? And how can you keep them in system 1 thinking compared to system 2 thinking?
So system 2 thinking would be, if you do put a client into system 2 thinking, that is probably where you'll be talking about specific numbers,
yes,
like measurements,
so it's like
particular bricks.
Exactly, long-winded lists, features, things like price comparisons, all that kind of stuff.
All different options. You can do brick, tile, wood,
yes.
this.
Yes, exactly. Because then what that does is it takes you from system 1, that's just effortless, you just always do it, it's just natural, to now like suddenly you've got to like think about these comparisons, and now suddenly things start getting harder, and this is where things start getting delayed.
This is really fascinating because, look, I think at the end of the day, every single builder, your job is to help your clients stay in system 1. That is why you are a builder. They are engaging you to do that, to make it effortless for them. They are not engaging you to make it hard for them.
Exactly.
And for them to do your job at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So you need to understand their vision, the big picture of what they want to accomplish, why they want to do that, and then give them basically advice, right?
Yeah.
On what we're going to just do.
Yeah. It really comes down to like simplifying that for them. Because remember, they're coming to you with a desire.
Yeah.
And they hear. But now the problem is, for them to get there, there's hurdles, there's problems. How am I going to build the house? What's it going to look like, etc. And your thing is to bridge that gap. And the way you bridge that is to bring your solution.
Yeah.
Which is your building, your expertise, everything. But you want to do it in the most simplified way.
That's huge, because
you just need to, yeah.
If you look at, like, sorry for stopping you, but every builder will have a different type of target market or a person that they're building for. Let's say, for example, someone's a builder is building my house, right? I'm a busy business owner. Like I can't think of all the little things. You know, I've got an idea, and then you throw complexity into it even more, because now you're sitting with relationships. You know, the husband and wife has to really, talk about all these things, make all these decisions together. But I mean, actually, you're going through building at the moment.
So like I'm doing some small renovations at home, and going through this journey, it's been awesome, because like I'm getting an other side for working with our clients and understanding how their clients feel when they go through certain stages of the build. And it's been really cool, because there's been times where we're going through this, like the selection phase at the moment, choosing like what tiles, and in the back of my mind, I know it's like a big investment and it's for our future and so on. But at the same time, what's been good with our builder is he's been able to really kind of, when we kind of dwindle to that system 2 mind of thinking, he's been able to pull us back to system 1, going, hey, like, guys, what's your vision here? Like, how do you want it to feel?
Yeah, right. So he brings it back.
He just asks the question,
Okay.
and it's like straight away, yeah, we want it to make it feel this way. Then he's, well, okay, cool. Well, this is what is going to get you there.
Yeah.
So he's the expert. He's come with advice. He's kind of directed us to that. And straight away, we're like, I just have that sense of like, oh man, I just feel so much more at peace going through this. We're running a business here. We're working with our clients. We're busy.
Yeah, put, I guess, a little bit more structure back into this episode. So how does systems 1 and 2 relate to builders? Well, you've got to ask yourself 3 questions. You said question 1 is marketing. So have that lens of, does my marketing put people in a system 1 frame of mind or a system 2 frame of mind? It should be system 1 as much as possible. Same with question 2, sales. So what, again, put on that lens, the sales process that I go through with my clients, my logical sales process that I've got written down, and also every interaction in terms of sales with a particular client, what system are we in?
Yeah.
And you'll probably find yourself, because I think you just mentioned it yourself there, the process you guys are going through in terms of the sales process was like sometimes you and Zali will go into system 2 thinking, but then the builder like pulls you out and puts you back into system 1,
Correct.
which is a benefit to you, the client.
Yeah.
And also a benefit to the business, to the builder,
Yeah.
because he can run his business, things can keep moving ahead.
Yeah, it's a lot more seamless, because I think the biggest problem for a lot of our builders is when they have a client that they, oh my word, I just a headache, like they're just so hard to deal with. But the question you got to ask yourself is, are they maybe in system 2 thinking? And is there a way for you to pull them back to system 1 thinking?
Yeah, okay, so the builder will kind of like, they'll complain. They're like, oh, I only get these clients that are like
Yeah.
so X,
Yeah.
Y, Z. So it could actually just be a really good client
Yeah.
in disguise because they're stuck in system 2 thinking.
Because you're the guide, as the company builder,
The guide.
you're the guide. So
Okay.
you guide your clients through. So
Right.
you got to always bring them back on the path if something is different. And you do it in a nice way. And that's why the whole thing with system 1 and system 2, the important thing is to start with your marketing and really understand, cool, how do I keep them in system 1 thinking? So the emotional, keep to our vision, keep to our goal, and stick to that. And then go, well, in the sales, how do I communicate that in a very simplified way that doesn't make their heads kind of go, oh my word, I did not understand anything
Yeah.
in the sales process.
And another thing clients can do, right, builders can do, and our clients, is utilizing and leveraging video, and especially long form video content, right? So yes, your story, your 2-3 minute business overview story and the 2-3 minute case study stories that we've created for you is great. But we have a fair few clients now jumping on this, what we call long form educational based video content, all right, where they can educate clients and prospective clients before the fact. And a lot of that content should be focused on that system 1. And that's really where we guide them through that process. So for example, when we're shooting the content for our clients, when our clients start going into that systems 2, the logical, all that part, we go, hey, let's go back.
Yeah.
So they have that, we're guiding them,
Exactly.
just like they should be guiding their clients.
Yes.
But that's a real good way of doing it because you can use video as leverage to, enhance the sales process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is just simplifying everything.
Yeah.
It's such a, like when you say simplify, but like if you can simplify that whole process for your client journey and make it so effortless, they'll go through that going, oh my word, like this is so good, I want to build again. And they'll refer you on. And that's generally where you get those referrals, where you get people referring you on and stuff, is when they had that experience that like, man, like it was system 1. It was fun to go through. It wasn't easy, but it was fun to go through. And that's kind of like just throwing it back to that coffee example. It was like this experience. Yes, we're paying $8 to $12 a cup. We could have paid $30.
Why didn't you do the $30 one?
Good question. Maybe if they even had us more
Maybe
engaged on that 31. I think one thing I noticed in that coffee experience was that if the guy had come out to us when we arrived and say, hey guys, like we've got these coffees, and then just start it with that top one and explain why. What's the value in that 31?
Or maybe they should just cut the $8 ones out and just make them all 30.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. I want to go to Melbourne and go experience that now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, we started this podcast off with, why do some projects not go through? So systems 1 and 2 thinking, I think, is so relevant, not just for this particular topic that we decided on today. But yeah, the things that you cannot control, i.e. interest rates and everything else like that, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, so how does systems 1 and 2 go back to, why projects don't go ahead? Is your thinking because the client was in system 2 thinking the logical side too much? There's a lot of time they have to put into it to think about it, to make all these decisions. What if this happens? Or what if I want to put a pool there later on, or this, and maybe then we shouldn't extend there? Or now you're going into the systems 2 thinking. So then they just go, and then they might start having fights in the family and all that, and they just go, this is too hard basket. Let's just
it's complex.
not do it. Oh, and let's blame it on the interest rates.
Yeah, exactly. So
Is that what you're kind of saying?
what was your question there?
Well, the question is like, how does systems 1 and 2 go back to this whole thing of like, why do projects not go ahead?
Well, that's the thing. If projects don't go ahead, it's most probably, apart from the interest rates and the financial and getting a loan for the client, it's probably because their thinking went to system 2 where it became too complex. There was too many decisions to be made.
Yeah.
Life's already hectic with work and business or whatever. They're like, stuff this. We'll do this at another time.
Yeah.
Or
We've got a roof over our head. That's fine.
Exactly. Or they might have had 2 builders that they were sort of going to deal with, and then the one builder's like, man, it just seems too complex to build with this guy, because it's just like there's just so much that I need to bring to the party, and I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
It's confusing, and then suddenly our minds, and I know JP always says this, is like when we make decisions, we go with the least resistance. So we kind of, if there's 2 pathways, whichever is the least resistance, generally that's where our minds will go.
Yeah, you want I guess as humans we want to save energy, and that's why we go the path of least resistance. Yeah, this is fantastic. You literally just said something. What if there's 2 builders, right? This is probably how builders can make sense of this. There's 2 builders, 1 client. They're going on this whole like journey together at the same time. Both builders quoting. Builder 1, their marketing and their sales is systems 2 thinking. All the logical stuff, making it hard for the client at the end of the day. Let's say budget is they coming back with a quote of $800,000. Builder 2 comes back $800,000, okay? But it's systems 1 thinking, making it easier for the client. Who do you think they'll go with? Who do you think they'll trust more? They actually lose trust in the builder with system 2 thinking, because it doesn't give them enough like confidence.
Exactly.
Because the builder is not showing confidence, because you can look at all this detail and making it hard. Whereas systems 1 thinking makes it easy.
Yes.
So then you could argue, well, systems 1 builder could probably ask more margin. I don't know. You could argue that. I'm not saying that's what you do, but you could argue that in terms of like just going back to your coffee story.
Yes.
Again, I'm not sure. Maybe the cost of that coffee is more than other coffee. Who knows? They're probably doing it on a smaller batch, so they're not. Yeah, they're paying more per 100 grams or whatever than 7-Eleven or whatever. But again, the margin is way more with that coffee.
Yeah, but it's because the way they started telling the story and the notes and got us emotionally engaged, even from the Instagram, even before walking in there, that already put them a mile ahead of all the other coffee shops, the 10 tabs that I had open on my computer when we were searching for a coffee place.
Yeah, again, like it goes back to you started looking for these people, right? These coffee shops. So their marketing presented that as well. And then when you walked in, their whole sales process did that. It didn't even feel like a sales process, I would assume.
Exactly. It's the experience.
And then number 3, the journey. So you actually experiencing that coffee. It lived up to those 2 expectations.
Exactly. And then when we walked out that door, all 3 of us looked to the barista and we said, man, thank you very much for the coffee. We just paid nearly double what we normally pay. And maybe it tasted similar, but the experience was awesome.
Yeah. And now we're making a podcast about it.
Yeah.
So it's that powerful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining.
Cheers.